Hey everybody, this is Dana from NextGen, and I am so glad that you guys are joining us on our live stream. We are talking about selling today. We're talking about selling properties as opposed to buying. So I have a treat for you. I have been able to snag another NextGen partner, which is Damon Holland. You know him, you love him from the Holland Homes team. He is here to talk to us about some strategies for a successful sale of your property. Um, Damon, thank you for joining us this evening, and I will turn it over to you, sir.
Absolutely, Dana. I appreciate it. Thanks for the invite as always. Love doing things with Next Gen for Next Gen, and like I said, alongside Next Gen. Um, but today we're going to be talking about the listing consultation, and we're talking about everything getting your home ready to list. We're going to be talking about a lot of things today, but we're going to keep it short and sweet. Some things I'm going to get into full detail with. Some things I'm not going to get into too much detail with. But always at the end, if you want more information, contact me, and we can definitely go the extra mile and get into more detail with certain things. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. Next slide. Again, this is the consultation. This is the meeting agenda. Some things we're going to be talking about. Understanding the actual consultation. When that realtor comes to your house for that first meeting, they're going to come talk about your home, talk about the prices. We're going to talk about um, effective, how to make that meeting effective. I'm going to implement the strategies that y'all discussed also. Next slide.
Okay. Well, I have a question. So when you're talking about
Mm-hmm.
a consultation, what you mean is, okay, I want to sell my home or I want to sell a property. So if I have that in my mind to do, then what I need to do is I need to contact you or contact a reputable real estate agent to have a sit down and have a consultation. This is not something that you would recommend that I do on my own, would you?
No, absolutely not. Because it's also like an interview process too. You may want to meet with three different realtors and see who fits what you're looking for, who fits your different levels of expectations that you're looking for. It's an interview process for us as the realtors and you as the homeowner also.
Okay. So let's say, okay, because I bought my house and next week it'll be 30 years. So this will be something
Hmm.
like really new to me, and I might be emotional about letting go my home and that type of stuff. So I guess that's another reason why I wouldn't want to do it on my own because I'm dealing with a professional that can stand back and actually have knowledge of what's going on in the market as opposed to the person like me, the home seller that just wants to sell my home. Is that a good analogy, if you will?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And one of the things I say, far as selling your house, this is probably one of the biggest assets you have. Most people have is their home. That's a lot of money on the table, and you don't want to miss out on some things just because you want to try to save a couple of dollars and try to do it yourself. Now, I'm not saying it's not possible. You can actually sell your property on your own. There's a lot of for sale by owners out there, and it does work. It does go through, but sometimes when you are still working, you don't have the time to invest into contracts and putting the home on the market and everything that deals with the market. Sometimes you don't have that time, and that's where us as the realtor come in because we are subject matter experts. We do it every day, all day, and we can take the headache out of selling your property while you still go to work, living every day, and all you're doing is making decisions. So that's kind of the big part of it.
Oh, yeah. And then I was just thinking while you were talking, you probably know someone that may be looking for a house like mine too, which is something I would know.
Absolutely. 9 times out of 10, as realtors, we're going to have buyers that we're working with. We may have investors that we're working with. We may have people already looking in that area. And then here you come with your home that you want to sell, and we may be able to pair it up and have a quick sale. It all depends. Everything's situational, and also timing. Timing is the big thing that we're going to talk about too.
Excellent. Thank you.
So, understanding the real estate listing consultation. Next slide. The definition of the consultation, as we just talked about, the purpose is to for the seller and the realtor to sit down and talk about expectations. We're going to talk about putting the home on the market. We're going to talk about one of the biggest things is the market value assessment. 9 times out of 10, us as realtors, when we come to this consultation, we come to this meeting, we've already done some homework, we've already done some research on not only your property but the area also. So we're going to come with a lot of information, because a lot of times we don't just want to talk about it. We also want to show you in writing and what's in your neighborhood and what just sold probably 4 to 5 months ago. We don't want to go back too far than that because if we, let's say we go back a year, real estate market was totally different a year ago. So we don't want to go too far back because that would change different aspects. So about 6 months, 6, 7 months is a good time to go back and pull everything that's sold within your subdivision and say, this is what's sold, this is why it's sold. And we also come with a price range from lowest to highest. We can't really narrow it down yet because we haven't been inside your house yet, and that's part of the consultation also is a home evaluation, which we'll talk about more in the slides coming up. But we'll have a market value from lowest to highest. We'll tell you what that is. And as far as strategic market planning, we're going to come with a plan for that. As far as putting the home on the market, pricing, whether you want it staged or not, there's a lot of different things within that. And all this is the goal to improve the sale success.
I think we have a question here, and you may be getting into it. I'm not sure.
How do I know much my home is worth? Absolutely. So Zillow, I always tell our clients Zillow is a good place to start. It's not it's not that accurate, but it's always a good place to start because everybody has access to that. That's something you could pull up real quick, and they have a Zestimate in there. I'm smiling because it's not always, like I said, it's not always accurate, but they do have a Zestimate in there. That's a good place to start because, like I said, everybody has access to that. Us as realtors, we're going to use a more detailed practice, which is the MLS. Probably heard of it, hear about it a lot, but we use the MLS. It's a little bit more detailed, more accurate, and also we're going to come to your home and evaluate your home and get more of an accurate price also. Far as Zillow, that's what they don't do. They don't come to your home and evaluate your home because you may have made improvements in your home. You may have different things that Zillow can't see or pull up. So that's the big difference why I say Zillow is not that accurate.
Oh,
We
that
go a
makes sense.
step beyond that. We definitely go a step beyond that.
What does MLS stand for?
Multiple listing system.
Okay, so that means
Um,
that when
mhm.
you say multiple listing systems, that means that the listing can go to multiple places, not just one place.
Correct. It'll start there and it'll go out to Zillow, it'll go out to Realtor.com, it'll go out to different places from there.
Okay, so Zillow is just one of many places that people can go look for property.
Correct. One of
Okay,
many.
you want to go to the next slide?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Key participants, of course, the listing agent, that realtor come in. Like I said, this is a interview process. This is a time for you to sit down, meet that realtor. Maybe you don't know them, you just meet them. So again, this is a time for you to get a feel for them and them get a feel for you. Property seller insights. Like I said, we're going to come with that CMA, comparative market analysis. And we're going to talk about that again later on slides. But we're going to bring information about the property, unique features, history of the neighborhood and subdivision. We're going to bring all this paperwork. Oh, and back up a little bit also. Expect for about probably 45 minutes to an hour for this consultation too. Because like I said, we come with so much information to give you and to talk with you about that it probably won't take that long. And then you also have the home evaluation in that also. When for me, I like to start the outside of the house. This is the time where we can walk around, look at your home. You can tell me anything you already know about your house that needs repaired or been repaired. We'll start with the outside, then we'll go inside, look at everything, and talk about it, and keep moving from there. Additional stakeholders, co-homeowners, anybody else who is on the deed, as far as legally on the deed, as far as the homeowner.
Okay. Do you have like a checklist that you can give the homeowner ahead of time so they could kind of get an idea? Since like I said, some people it might be 20, 30 years before they even think about selling their houses. That could kind of help them guide them through.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have probably have a checklist for just about everything.
I
Myself
was gonna
and
say, I do remember seeing your world famous checklist. They are so helpful.
yes, yes, I do. One for sellers, one for buyers, a lot of different situations. For me, it helps because I write stuff down a lot too. But those checklists are definitely quick and effective, and it helps out too.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely. Next slide. Benefits for sellers and agents. Like I said, we'll start out with that seller guidance. We're going to come with a lot of things. Our main job is to interpret the market and give you all of your options. And for me, like I said, I'm going to interpret the market, tell you about what's going on in the market, the different trends, and what's kind of the major things going on right now. And I'm going to give you lay all your options out on the table, and I'm gonna let you. You are the ultimate decider. You decide on everything. I'm not making any decisions. All I do is put your options on the table, and I facilitate the process. Agent advantages, like I said, we build trust. We talk about different clients we've had, customized market approaches through the listening consultations. As far as some people don't want their property on the MLS or put out on Zillow or online, anything like that. So that's time to discuss that and talk about that. Faster sales and satisfaction, satisfaction. I'm sorry, but again, this is the time for both sides to sit down and talk about what they expect. Some sellers say, "Hey, I want the most price, the most I can get for the house." Some people say, "Hey, I want to be out of here as fast as possible." So this again, both sides. You sit down, throw all your cards on the table, and come up with a plan from there.
Yeah, I can see some homeowners that are kind of sensitive because I guess if you're taking pictures of their home, that is people looking inside their home, strangers looking inside their home, and I can see them being sensitive about that. Do you give them any kind of guidance on things that they can do? If you I don't know if you tell them if taking pictures of their home will actually enhance their visibility as opposed to just listing the outside and hope people come in and look because people are going to want to look at the inside of their home.
Yes, for me, that is definitely one of the biggest part of the marketing strategy. Taking pictures of the home, it definitely brings people in and invites people, and it gets people to come and actually see the home. Far as declutter is the first thing I tell everybody. Just kind of declutter and start. You're in the process of moving, so you can definitely start packing stuff up. And the less is more. Less stuff you have out. Of course, if you don't want personal items out, you don't have to have your personal items out in the pictures. Try to make it look as natural as possible. But yes, pictures are definitely a big part. Pictures bring interest, pictures bring appointments, and hopefully to bring that client in, that buyer that we want in also.
Okay, next slide.
Yes. Preparation. Next slide. Conducting market research and property analysis. Again, there's that CMA that we're talking about. Again, I'm going to come with a lot of information. I'm going to do the market research. I'm going to not analyze recent sales, current listings. Current listings, you'll hear me say a lot of times that's our opponents. That's our enemies. That's our opponents who are listing in that area, that subdivision, or on your block. And again, it talks about neighborhood trends and understanding market dynamics. So I'm gonna come with a lot of information. We're gonna talk about a lot of things, and sometimes I will also send this information probably a day prior, just so clients can look at it. And then once we sit down, it's not their first time seeing everything. So I do that also.
Excellent. Okay.
Detailed property analysis. Again, property condition, upgrades that we talked about, unique features. All this is used to assess that value. And again, like I said, Zillow is not going to send anybody to come and look at your house, but that's something that we do, as still do as realtors. So That's why that zestimate is, it's probably, from when we look at it, when I always look at it, it's off 5 to 7% plus or minus, up or down, either way, of the list price that we as realtors come up with. So it's close, but it's not there. Again, it doesn't take into account property conditions and upgrades and stuff like that, details. Um, Pricing and market strategy, that's always the most important, and that's usually where I spend most of my time talking about as far as in the consultation is the pricing. Like I said, everybody's different, everybody different situations. I talk with clients and they want the biggest and the best price, the most they can get. Some clients want to come in at market value, and because they need to be out of there by a certain time. So it all depends. Next slide.
I think we have a
Hmm.
question, and I don't know if you're going to get to that yet. Give me a second.
Should I replace appliances and paint? Good question. Again, that's always something that we talk about as far as when we're doing a home evaluation. Do you want to replace your appliance? It depends on the age. It depends on the age and how it comes across in the pictures. I would say that. Sometimes no, a lot of times no, uh, with newer homes and stuff like that. But there are some properties that definitely need it. As far as painting, if the walls are again, if not, depending on how they show up in the picture, if the walls definitely need it, I always suggest yes, go ahead and paint something neutral, something cheap, something ineffective, cost efficient. I'm sorry, that you can do just to get it looking good. Because like again, the pictures are going to bring in the interest. It's going to bring in buyers. So you want it looking good in the pictures. It's like when you're out window shopping. When you're out window shopping in the malls and you see something that looks good, you're not going to put that old and busted appliance in the window and think people are going to come in and have interest. So you want to put the newest and best out there as far as for everybody to see.
Yeah, I think I had a situation where like the refrigerator and the appliances like the range and the dishwasher, because some people prefer the high-end type of refrigerator that has to match with the range, that has to match with the dishwasher. So I guess um I've seen some homes that didn't have a refrigerator, and I guess that's for whoever's going to buy it
Hmm.
to select their own refrigerator. So I guess you're saying, as what you may be saying is, as opposed to having the olive green, which I do not have, by the way, instead of the olive green refrigerator, just remove the refrigerator and let them select their high end whatever they want, as opposed to putting money into getting something that nobody wants.
Correct. A lot of things that you customized, the new buyer may not like. So we try to return it to original state and leave it like that. Because there are a lot of customizations in homes that people will be like, that's specific for them. They like it and they like it only. Um, so it's all situational. It all depends. But again, I always try to put the seller in the mindset of um, as a buyer. If you're a buyer and you're seeing this, would you like it? Would you like to see something different? It just all kind of runs into that situation. But a lot of times, if it is too old, appliances, I might say, yeah, we may need to replace that. There have been situations where I have said that, and we got it replaced, and everything went good as far as pictures and everything. Painting also, the walls were just um, a little bit too. It, I would say, it needed it. It needed it in some rooms. So did a little bit of painting, replaced a few things, came in, took pictures, went good, put it on the market, and it sold.
Okay, great. Okay.
Hmm. Next slide. Necessary information, and here's some of the documents or the checklist that I give out that we were talking about not too long ago. As far as sellers, things you need to collect are your deeds, appraisal reports, tax records, disclosure forms. All this, all this definitely helps us out when we get to that consultation because these are things that I'm gonna need to see just to make sure block on a lot of things. Expedite the
Oh,
listing process. Their question?
yeah, I was gonna wait till you go through, and then I was gonna ask the question.
Okay. Complete and accurate paperwork. All this definitely speeds up the process, so we know who's a homeowner, who's the co-homeowner. Documents we check to make sure everybody who's on the deed needs to be on there. There has been example, just a situation with somebody was trying to sell a property. I had a client trying to sell a property who wasn't legally authorized to sell the property without four other signatures. So that came up. Then we had to pretty much go back and not restart the process, but we had to get them involved also. So situations, and he didn't know, legally he didn't know as far as that, he needed those other signatures to sell the property. So it was heirs property. So that's one situation that happens too. That's
Okay.
why we need all this paperwork. If we get it all up front, we can see who's who and what's what, and knock that out early.
Okay. Okay. So I see that you have collected title deeds, which makes perfect sense. But when you're talking about appraisal reports, is that something that the seller is going to have to get? Because I don't know if that's something that's just, I mean, I think that's something you have to do, right?
It is, but it's not a must. It's not a must because the appraisal report may have been when you bought the property, and it could be 7 years later. So you may need a new one by now. I would say that appraisal report, if it's in maybe a year, then we need it. But if it's longer than a year, we may not need it because
Okay.
it's definitely changed.
Okay. And now what about the tax records? Are you talking about the income tax or are you talking about the real estate tax?
Property, the real estate,
Okay. Okay.
property
Okay.
taxes, just to
Yeah.
match and make sure. Hmm.
Okay, because I saw a tax record. I said, "Oh, that's interesting." The real estate, and then I see the 1040, but you're talking about the real estate tax. Got it. So, and we don't
Yeah.
want to go off of the real estate, the appraisal that they put on the on this taxes if we don't like it, right? We don't want to use that one. Okay. All right.
Not
But
at all.
that's the only question I had. I just thought that was really interesting.
Next
Okay.
slide.
I argue with it every year.
Nothing wrong with that. And we get back to setting those expectations with clients and as far as us as realtors. Managing seller expectations. We're going to discuss price. As you see, we're constantly talking about price. And then we're throwing timing in there and negotiating hurdles are vital for client satisfaction and trust. Again, this is time for me as a agent. I'm gonna come through and let you know everything that I'm going to do step by step to make sure you understand. Make sure I put everything out there. There's nothing hidden. Everything is transparent, and you know what's going on. For me, transparent communication is also in there. What I also do, as far as on the seller side, I set up a time and date every week for us to talk. So once a week, we're going to talk. No matter how long I have your property on the market, once a week, we're going to talk. We're going to talk about things I've done, things I'm doing now, and the things I'm about to do. Just in case we need to switch things up, everything's going to be evaluated on a week-to-week basis. We're going to talk about how many people showings we had that last week. We're going to talk about how I'm going to change it to get more showings or open houses coming up. So again, I like to talk once a week. Keep that communication going. And also during that talk, impact of market conditions. Some things may have changed. Let's say let's say your property's on the market and everybody in the neighborhood dropped their price $20,000. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you, hey, everybody in your neighborhood, everybody in your block, reduce their listing price $20,000. Now you're on the high end out there by yourself. We may need to drop our price also. We're going to discuss that every week because things change that rapidly, that fast in real estate. So again, that's definitely something I like to do every week with my seller clients. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
Next slide. Effective consultation meeting. Next slide. Evaluating property condition and value. We're always evaluating the property. We're always make sure we're getting the right price. Um, Structural integrity, features, all this is essential to getting that right price, making that making that good price. Again, we're going to come with a price range from lowest to highest within the neighborhood and within that block and within that subdivision. But we're going to narrow it down off of different aspects of your home, your upgrades, your condition of your property. All that is going to narrow down the price. And there are a couple different ways to sell your house. One is coming in competitive. It's also called, you'll hear me say, fair market value, coming in at fair market value. And then it's also coming in on the high end where you're like the number one in the neighborhood. That means you have that premium property in the neighborhood. You're the best in the neighborhood, which will sometimes take a little bit longer because you're waiting on the right price and the right person at that price. Versus coming in at competitive fair market value. If we lower it and come in at fair market value, you may get more offers. Well, you are going to get more offers, and getting more offers will put you in a multiple offer situation, and then you have clients, buyers bidding against each other, which also may raise their price. So, just two things to think about. I try to explain to my clients two ways to put it on the market. But again, clients, you are the definite final decision maker. Whichever way you want to go, that's the way we would go. Professional appraisal is important. Like I said, again, if it's over a year, we may not want to use it, but if it's within 6 months you had appraisal done, we definitely need it. It definitely helps out because we try to reduce and limit surprises. So if the appraisal's done, we definitely need it. But again, something else I always like to do also is pre-listing inspection. That's where I have one of my inspectors come in. They will go through the home and inspect it and tell us anything that needs to be repaired or replaced. And then that way we can also adjust the price. We can replace it or repair it before putting it on the market. Because that way, during the process, buyers, they're going to come in with their inspector also. And if we already know what's wrong with the property, it's a win on our side too. We can negotiate that.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. Any questions on that?
No, sir.
Next slide, please. Pricing, reviewing pricing strategies and marketing plans. Diverse pricing strategy. What I just talked about, competitive, which I also call coming in at fair market value, and then there's that premium. And strategic underpricing are key pricing strategies to attract buyers and generate interest. What I just said not too long ago. Market plans. Market plans, how we're going to put it on the market, what price we're going to put it at the market, where it's going to go, as far as Realtor.com, Trulia, there's so many different ones out there. We're definitely going to put it on all of them. Not only that, we want to circulate it within our office, within our brokerage, also to other realtors who we know have buyers, and that's the impact of that market that we're talking about. We're going to put it out everywhere in so many places to get the right clients in, to get it more listing appointments and get it looked at and get it sold as fast as possible. Next slide, please. Client concerns. It's always a question about pricing. Pricing is always a concern. But again, with all the information we're going to come with all the information you're going to give us, we can definitely, we're going to come out that consultation and agreeing on a price. Market timing. Market timing is always good because those two different strategies we talked about, premium and you have the competitive, it depends on everything is situational. So it depends on how you want to come in the market, at what price you want to come in the market. It depends on how it's good. That's definitely a key factor. Again, negotiating strategies, depending on the repairs, the inspection, all that's negotiable. So that's definitely part of it. Proactive agent communication. Again, as far as communication, we're going to talk every week. once we get it listed and on the market, we're going to talk every week about different strategies. We're going to talk about the neighborhood. We're going to talk about open houses. We're going to give that feedback from different appointments also. Because when we do have appointments and somebody comes through the house, as far as different showings, we always ask the realtor to leave feedback. As far as was it a good showing? What is their suggestions as far as the price? Were there any issues during the showing? And we'll sit down and we'll review everything that buyer said. Maybe they caught something that we didn't see. Maybe they see a crack in the ceiling that we didn't see. We'll get that on the feedback, and then we could correct it and move forward from there. And all of this is an impact on the success. And like I said, effective management is the main key, and that's always the question that I get a lot: how to facilitate the process, what works best. It depends, different situations, but as long as there's communication, we can definitely fix almost anything. Next slide. Implementing all these recommendations on and listing the property. Next slide. Praying for the again, praying for the market. We talked about home repairs. Like I say, I'm going to have a pre-listing inspection. They're going to come through. They're going to tell us, hey, there's a crack in there's a leak in your ceiling, or some of the shingles are missing on the roof. Something underneath the crawl space is wrong, but they're going to tell us everything we need to know about the property before we list it, and then we can, like I say, we can repair or fix it then before putting it on the market. Staging. Staging homes, they definitely sell better and faster when the home is staged. But that's a lot of times the owner is still in the house, so we can't stage it. But as long as you declutter and make everything look good before every showing and before the open houses, that also works too. But if the house is empty and the owner has gone, I definitely suggest staging the property. Professional photography, that is a must, again, because when you take the pictures, that was bring the interest. It brings the interest. Curb appeal, but like I said, during that evaluation, we're going to walk around the house. We're going to say, hey, maybe we need to clean this up. Maybe we need to throw this out. But it's a open communication as far as the realtor and the seller. We're going to talk about everything. Next slide. Promotional activities, multi-listing platform marketing, impact of digital promotion, and changing buyer behavior. Again, that's everything that we talked about. The MLS, social media, email, open houses. We're going to do all this. The MLS is definitely the first. That's the first place it's going to go live. It's going to go live to all the realtors in the area, and then it's going to also hit probably an hour, 2 hours later. It's going to hit Zillow. It's going to hit Realtor.com and all the other ones also. So get that broad outreach. Then emails. I'm going to send out emails to all the realtors that I know, all the clients that I know, past clients that I know, anybody that I pretty much know, who you never know who they know. They may know somebody who's looking to purchase a home, and they send it to them. So the outreach is a broad outreach. The impact of that digital promotion, everything, we're living in a digital age, so everything is definitely that route. And as you can see, the last one, that's the way buyers are looking at properties. Again, Zillow is the biggest out there as far as clients that you can look up and pull up just as fast as I can. But again, it's not as detailed as the MLS, but it is the quickest that you have at your fingertips.
I did have a question. Um,
Hmm.
and this is just something that I was thinking about. I know that the pictures do tell a lot, but have you seen it where someone's actually, I think on some of your videos, you actually walked through the house. So the person, because the pictures shows a snapshot in time, it doesn't show the relationship, let's say, from one thing to another. Like, where is the family room in relation to the kitchen? Is it open concept? Sometimes you can't tell that by a picture. So, do you find it beneficial to do a video of the property? That's just something I
Good
thought of.
question. Great question. Absolutely, I do. Yes, I usually do pictures and a video tour, and also sometimes there's a floor plan layout, a digital floor plan layout that you can click and walk through yourself also. So
Oh,
those
that
are
is
the
I've
three
seen those.
main.
That's great.
Yeah, those are the three main ones that we use. Like I said, pictures are definitely the number one source, but then that, like you said, that video tour, going through the house and seeing where everything is as relationship to the front door and walking through the front door and getting that also. And then the last one is that being able to click and walk through and look at everything at your own pace too. All of that definitely works. And yes, far as me, all of that is included in the marketing.
Next slide.
Yes. Monitoring feedback and adjusting strategy. That's what I talked about earlier. Feedback, every time there's a showing, every time another agent brings clients through to show the property, they're supposed to give us feedback. A lot of that feedback will be, hey, I think it's a good price. Hey, my buyer likes it. It was a good showing. Or it could be, we found the roof to be missing too many shingles. We found a crack in the driveway. We found this. We found that. But that feedback is definitely important because it gives us an idea of what they're seeing. Like I said, it's something we may have missed and something we can fix as we go along. Different tools. I have different reports on how many have came through, how many people have showed the property, how many people have clicked like on Zillow or the MLS, a different type of tools like that. How many people have saved the property, how many phone calls I've got. You'll get a list and reports of all of that on a weekly basis. And then, like I said, the last one says we will make changes and adapt to it off of that feedback that we're getting. Next slide. So, in conclusion, these are the things that we hit. We talked about purpose and understanding, thorough preparation, marketing, and meeting effective execution. We talked about implementing and recommendation. Again, this was an overview. I didn't want to get too detailed everything, but it was a good overview of a lot of questions that I get. I used a lot of examples for the consultation. And this, again, this was only the consultation portion. This was from the time you say, "Hey, I want to sell my property." Then you start interviewing agents to the time we put on the market. We're going to do a part two of this probably next month, where as if the property is listed. Now the property is already listed, and we're going from listing to sold. So stay tuned for that. But again, this consultation portion is kind of like the main side of it. This is definitely the main side of it to get everything ready to put it on the market to be sold. So it's all good information. Any other questions?
No, I don't see anything in the chat. Well,
Okay,
this
and like I
was
said, good information. Perfect. Go ahead.
well, I was going to say, thank you again. So this is a part one of your from listing to sold. So and I know this is a Thursday
Yes.
evening. So if you didn't get a chance to watch this broadcast at a live stream, you still have the opportunity to put your comments in the on the channel. You can definitely do that, or you can contact Holland Homes team. Their contact information is in the description, so definitely feel free to share this information because you may not be selling your home, but you may know someone that is selling their home. And what better way to get the right information than from the right people? And we're talking about Holland's Homes team. They're very knowledgeable. They may not be in your area, but they do have a wealth of knowledge that they can share with you. So, again, Damon, thank you and your team for sharing this valuable information.
Appreciate the invite. Always looking forward to working with Next Gen and being part of Next Gen. Anything I do to help out, I am there. No problem at all.
Okay. Well, Again, everyone, have a great evening. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so. And again, this is a part one. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week because we're actually going to have a panel of investors. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So definitely make sure that you stay in tune and click that notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos. Again, thank you and have a great evening.
Good night.